99% of the people who follow the biblical calendar would never associate December 14th this year with 9/11 or Kislev 11 on the biblical calendar. Because in modern society, everybody has been taught to start the new biblical month at the sliver moon and not the full moon. Now, when we look in the Bible, one of the verses in Psalms 81 verse 3, it states that the new moon is the full moon. Nowhere in the Bible, as far as my understanding is concerned, does the Bible tell us to begin the month at the sliver moon. So again, my point is that we need to understand that almost nobody who follows the biblical calendar would ever associate December 14th with Kislev 11 or 9/11. They would associate December 14th with either Kislev 24, 9/24, or Kislev 25, 9/25, depending on when the sliver moon showed the sliver. Okay? Now, why am I pointing this out? Well, why I'm pointing this out is because what I'm about to show you is so mind-blowing that it's hidden to most people who even follow the biblical calendar because of the way that they follow it. Okay, so let me lay a quick foundation for what I'm going to get to. So I've been talking about and been led to figure out the understanding of the twins, Gemini. In Greek mythology, the Gemini twins were Castor and Pollux. And Castor and Pollux are directly referenced in the Bible in Acts chapter 27 and 28. When the Apostle Paul boards a ship, and the sign of the ship was Castor and Pollux, the Gemini twins. So going back to the Twin Towers, that's what they were showing us. The two twins coming down and becoming one. The two becoming one. Because after the Twin Towers were taken down, they put up a one world trade center. So the two became one. And I've talked about how this has to do with the rapture. That we have an angel of ourselves. In New Age, it's called a higher self. Okay? But in the Bible, it says that when Peter came to the house, they thought it was his angel. The Bible says that we currently are seated with Christ in heavenly places. It's telling us that we are literally two places at once. And I've showed how they've shown this in movies like Fight Club. So, saying all that to say my point now, what somebody left me in the comments section completely blew my mind. Because like I said in the beginning of this video, 99% of people who follows the biblical calendar would ever associate or think to associate December 14th with Kislev 11 or 9/11 on the biblical calendar because most people start the biblical month from the sliver moon and not the full moon. However, if you begin the new month at the full moon, which this year is December 4th, for the beginning of the 9th month, Kislev, and you go 11 days forward from December 4th, the full moon, you come to December 14th for Kislev 11, the 11th day of the 9th month on the biblical calendar, 9/11. Now that a person knows that information, And they know what 9/11 stands for, symbolizes the twins, Castor and Pollux, Gemini, the two becoming one, right? Just like the Twin Towers. We have these two pieces of information that December 14th can be looked at as 9/11, and we know what 9/11 symbolizes. Gemini, twins. Now, knowing those two pieces of information that most people, 99%, don't know, now you're ready to understand how amazing what I'm about to show you is. Castor and Pollux are the brightest stars in the Gemini constellation. Gemini is the radiant point for the annual Geminid meteor shower, get this, which peaks around December 14th. The constellation is a prominent feature in the December night sky. What are the odds of that? I had no idea what the constellations were doing about any meteor showers all this time when I connected December 14th with 9/11. I did not know the connection of what was actually going on in the heavens on December 14th. But it just so happens to be that on December 14th, the biblical 9/11 that only 1% of biblical people know out there is 9/11, is the night that the once a year Gemini meteor shower peaks at. What are the odds of this connection? If starting the new month at the full moon was not a thing to God, then how is this possible? How is December 14th, 9/11, from the full moon, which 9/11 is connected with the Gemini twins Castor and Pollux in the Bible and in the Twin Towers, what they did. And on that night, it just so happens to be that that is when the Gemini meteor shower that only happens once a year peaks December 14th. So they would never make this connection. 99% of the people who follow the biblical calendar will never see this connection because you have to know those two pieces of vital information. That you need to start the new month from the full moon to see this. And also, you need to understand the connection between 9/11 and Gemini. So I'm in complete shock and awe because this whole time that I've been getting all this revelation about the month being started from the full moon and what 9/11 means, why they did that ritual connected to the boat that Paul got on, which was Castor and Pollux, which were the twins, which is connected to Gemini. And this is all in the heavens. Gemini is a constellation. Castor and Pollux are the brightest stars in that constellation, representing the twins made immortal. And all of these connections, I had no idea that on the night that I've been talking about, December 14th, is when the Gemini meteor shower that happens once a year actually peaks at. And here's yet another connection because Castor and Pollux are the brightest stars in Gemini, the twins, right? Daniel 12, verses 2 and 3. And many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life, and some to shame and everlasting contempt. Here it is. And they that be wise shall shine as the brightness of the firmament, and they that turn many to righteousness as the stars forever and ever. So that's kind of interesting how Castor and Pollux are the brightest stars in the constellation Gemini. And we have Daniel chapter 12 here saying that the wise will shine like stars, like the brightness of the firmament. The W, get it? Double U, your twin, Castor and Pollux, your angel, is the 23rd letter in the alphabet, the W. And if you count all the way up, 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6 plus 7 plus 8 plus 9 plus 10 plus 11 plus 12 plus 13 plus 14 plus 15 plus 16 plus 17 plus 18 plus 19 plus 20 plus 21 plus 22 plus 23, all the way to the 23rd letter, you get 276, the W, which is the highest IQ in the world, and Trump just passed the Genius Act. Your angel, 276, twin, becoming one with it. And 726 is harpazo in the concordance, the rapture, being caught up in the air with the Lord. Now look at this, man. This is so crazy. Acts 27, starting at verse 27. When the 14th night, get it, the 14th, December 14th, when the 14th night had come, as we were being driven across the Adriatic Sea, about midnight, get it, the midnight cry, the sailors suspected that they were nearing land, so they took a sounding and found 20 fathoms. A little farther on they took a sounding again and found 15 fathoms. And fearing that we might run on the rocks, they let down 4 anchors from the stern and prayed for day to come. And as the sailors were seeking to escape from the ship, and had lowered the ship's boat into the sea under pretense of laying out anchors from the bow, Paul said to the centurion and the soldiers, "Unless these men stay in the ship, you cannot be saved." Wow, interesting use of words there. You have to stay in the ship to be saved. Okay. Then the soldiers cut away the ropes of the ship's boat and let it go. As day was about to dawn, Paul urged them all to take some food, saying, "Today is the 14th day that you have continued in suspense and without food, having taken nothing. Therefore I urge you to take some food, for it will give you strength, for not a hair is to perish from the head of any of you." And when he had said these things, he took bread, and giving thanks to God in the presence of all, he broke it and began to eat. Then they all were encouraged and ate some food themselves. Look at this. We were in all 276 persons in the ship. And when they had eaten enough, they lightened the ship, throwing out the wheat into the sea. Paul's ship equals 726 in English Gematria. Shipwrecked equals 726 in English Gematria. The double U. And also when you take the number 23 and double it, so you have 22 and then 33, you multiply them and you get 726, harpazo, caught up.